Excellent. So it is May 17th, 2020 today. And the purpose of this video is to take a step back and to really analyze my life right now, the past 8 months of my life, and kind of look forward and see what's going on here. So take a step back and see what this documentation process is producing and how it's affecting my life in whatever ways. So before I get into this, I want to mention that I built a new YouTube account to post these videos on to make everything more streamlined as far as my data output and my content creation. Because I'm using an account, a Parker5Johnson.com account, rather than my old account that I used on YouTube for this, just to keep everything in line and kind of on the same platform, if you will. So I'm really excited about that. It's kind of like a starting fresh and just improving the organization all the time. So I'm excited about that. And another reason that I'm doing that is because I have some old videos from years ago on the old YouTube account, and recently had a few requests for links to those, and it made me a little bit uncomfortable because I think one of the main driving forces, or one of the motivators with this documentation process, is not currently having an audience, especially people I know, which, you know, there's nothing that I'm posting that I don't want to be seen, but I just feel more comfortable posting things without a big audience. So I hid all of my documentation videos that I've been doing on here, so on that old account. So I want to try to avoid that, and I'll bring them over to a new account. But I have yet to figure out how to transfer all of those previous videos from that one account to this new account via YouTube. I worked on it the other day for about an hour and I couldn't figure it out. But if I'm unable to find out how to do that, then what I'll end up doing is I'll just repost the videos that I have saved on my hard drive back here, which, you know, it'd be very time consuming, and I don't want to do that. But last resort, I'll be able to get all the videos back onto the YouTube account. So anyway, having said that, I want to go into three main topics today of reflection. And so the first topic that I want to talk about is my original 5 goals, my original goals that I set forth for this document process, and where I stand on those goals, and where I look in the future on those goals. So the overarching goal is to be accepted into Harvard Business School for a master's degree, and that goal still stands. I'm excited about it. I want to keep pursuing that as as kind of a medium-term goal, and keep that in mind. So I'm excited about that. The 5 sub goals that I had underneath that one was, number 1, learning Spanish. So I had learning Spanish. I had the starting another business one. I had building and maintaining the blog and website that I have, the personal blog and website, joining a club or nonprofit, and finally identifying and working on a strategy for the GMAT studying. So so anyway, I want to go into the Spanish one real quick. I have my notes here. As far as Spanish, I studied it for about 3 months. I think it was 3 or 4 months. I think I did about an hour a day, and on the app, on the Duolingo app, and then I think I did about an hour a day of podcasts on my way to and from work in the car, the 40-hour work, and very effective. I enjoyed it a lot, and I now have a practical understanding of the language, so I can understand when other people are talking about things in Spanish, what's going on generally in the conversation. I don't have an extensive vocabulary, but the main stuff I have, and I'm pretty confident about. Not fluent, but that wasn't originally the plan. I didn't want to be fluent. I just wanted to achieve the goal of understanding what's going on in a conversation, being able to add my 2 cents too. So that is accomplished, and I haven't been studying recently. However, I do plan to take a couple trips here in the next year or two to Spanish-speaking countries. I'd like to apply my knowledge and really immerse myself into that culture and be around Spanish speaking people. Number one, because I love those locations like that. I like to go to Costa Rica. Loved it. Loved that place. Visited for a friend's trip. So I still want to immerse myself into those situations. I'll do a refresher. I'll get on the app and do a refresher and update my Spanish speaking on there for that purpose. So things are going well on Spanish front. The next item would be the starting another business. So my brother and I, Matt and I, started a business. It was his idea, excellent idea, which is wristbands, where we sell them. It's a nonprofit business, and we sell wristbands to COVID-19 survivors, and all of the profits go towards PPE and equipment, personal protective equipment for frontline workers in the medical industry. And so that's something we're excited about, and we've been experimenting with a $0 budget for marketing. So all of our marketing has been via Twitter, and actually taking time out of my and his day to post and interact with possible buyers, and to really create a genuine environment. And it's definitely difficult. I've used pay for promotions on social media platforms before, and they're extremely effective for other companies. Extremely effective. However, this new approach that we took without that is it's less effective for sure, but it also creates a more realistic, real, genuine kind of approach, and it's exciting to try that out. So learning a lot from that process. So that's going well, and we plan to continue that. As you know, that it's May 17th today, so we're still in the midst of the whole COVID pandemic and situation economically. So I still see a lot of that going on. Let's see. So building and maintaining the blog and website. I absolutely love having that website and working on it, and I love it. I love it. I enjoy it. I enjoy using my creativity and my sense of organization and style to be able to apply it to the something that's available on the internet, which is awesome. And in fact, recently I offered to build a website for one of my friends back in Louisiana who started a company a year or so ago or two, and he hasn't had a website. He's been using Facebook and other programs and Instagram, and didn't have a website. And we determined that it would be nice for the company and probably a good thing for the company to have a website. So I offered to do it for him, and actually put it together pretty quickly and efficiently. And it's a beautiful website, nusosolutions.com, and it's just a beautiful website for a construction company. And I'm really proud of that, and I'm proud of the ability to be able to help my friend out in his business right there, and it continues my learning curve and learning process with companies and business in general. So exciting stuff, and I'll continue to. I plan to spend more time writing on my blog than I have in the past 8 months. I think that it'll be kind of a meditative reflection, kind of a reflecting thing to do, that I like to do a little bit more of it. So going forward, joining a club or a nonprofit, that was made pretty much impossible with the COVID-19 pandemic. The plan was to start that sometime January or during the summer when it's warm. I wanted to do an outside activity, outside club, something like that. Let me check the video to make sure it's still recording here. And it is. So anyway, I wanted to do something over the summer, and that just got botched almost completely by the COVID-19 pandemic. So currently, I guess you could say that the business that my brother and I are working on is nonprofit, and it's not necessarily a club or a group, but we're doing as much as we can right now. So I plan whenever the economy or whatever, when everything opens up and the government allows everything to go on as it normally has, is to jump back in and find a club and a group and do that. And I'm excited about that. Let's see. So, and the last thing is identifying, executing a GMAT study strategy. So I spent about 4 months, I believe it was, studying on the weekends for a few hours, and after work for I think it was maybe a month or two, I I would come home from work and I would study for about an hour, 30 minutes to an hour, with dinner and studying Spanish and reading my recreational book in the evening, and that process was very valuable. I have a full grasp on the magnitude of what studying for the GMAT and doing well on it entails, and I know how my schedule coincides with a study schedule, and I really do have a good grasp of the types of problems and the type of how the brain needs to be how the brain needs to focus and be wired to be able to solve the kind of problems and equations that are presented in the GMAT format. And so now knowing that, the plan going forward with the GMAT studying process is number one, I want to take one or two tests, like I said I was going to a while back, practice tests, unofficial practice tests within the next 2 months. I'd like to take at least one in the next 2 months on one weekend, just to finally, it's kind of the final stone, the cornerstone of the study strategy experiment that I was doing with the GMAT, is to get that final stone in there of actually, going through battle and spending a whole day, taking the actual exam and put myself through that activity. Because then I can finally finalize a perfect strategy to be able to succeed on that test. And then number two is I'm going to wait until I think about 4 months out from the actual test, the test date, the official test date that I determine at a later date, and spend those 4 months 100% focused on studying for and practicing for the GMAT test. I think that's very important. Through my studies and my experiments with the studying process, I see how important it is to be fully focused on that activity and to really rewire the brain in a way that's 100% focused on that outcome, and to be studying other things during that process, along with the 40-hour day job, is I think it's ineffective, to an extent ineffective, the extent that I like to my goals on that test. So that's the plan for that. That'll be an immersion thing. That'll be the only thing going on other than the 40-hour work week, and I'm excited going towards that. So I definitely understand what that's going to entail now, and that's the plan for that. So let's see. Number two, the second thing I wanted to talk about was what I've learned from this documentation process so far. And this is the most important thing, and what I'm most excited about discussing real quick is what I've learned here so far. And I think that so it's been 8 months that I've been doing this, and so it's been 8 months that I've been documenting my daily life in a systematic way, while focusing on medium and short-term goals, which are the final outcomes. So this process has unlocked an ability that I didn't know that I had, or that humans, and everybody has the ability, and that's what that's part of learning in life and everything. Everybody has the ability, but the ability to put your thoughts and activities and daily activities and thoughts and practices and schedules under such a microscope, where you're so aware of how your actions affect the future, that it's been absolutely incredible. It's been absolutely incredible. It's unlocked a whole new ability and world to me, really, and I'm excited about it. And that acute awareness of everything going on and its effects in the future has carried over and moved into other aspects of my life. Not only those main 5 goals that I discussed originally, but into other aspects of my life: family, friends, work life, and then exercise and stuff like that. But most importantly, I want to focus on my 40-hour construction job, because since most of my hours during the week are spent, working at that job or working on that job, that's where a lot of this focus and this new ability to analyze, organize, and compartmentalize thoughts and everything like that has landed on the 40-hour construction job and is being applied to that 40 hours just because of the magnitude of hours that I spend on that job. Let me check the camera again, make sure it's still going here. Yep. So it's cut off in the past, halfway through the video. I don't want to keep talking if it's cut off. But anyway, so a lot of that new ability, it's not a new ability, it's a newly discovered ability of my own, has been focused on, my 40-hour construction job working at the company that I work for. So if I do have spare time while, on the clock, if you will, for that job, I've spent it really, really analyzing and assessing the industry as a whole, the construction industry as a whole, industrial, and how my company does things and the activities and the intricacies of the company. And I've put together a lot of documents and really organized my thoughts as far as what the industry does, the main processes of the industry, and how it can be improved. Because the construction industry, especially industrial, is so it's so set on old ways, which most industries are. But I've come to the conclusion that, and this segues into the third item that I was going to talk about today, which is the construction industry and kind of my new long-term goal, medium long-term goal, in addition to the ones that I currently have, would be to use technology to better the construction industry as a whole. And I'm really excited about this because I think that we can implement artificial intelligence and machine learning and augmented reality to really, really, really influence the productivity of this multi-trillion-dollar industry. And now that I have worked in the industry for years now, I have an understanding to the level at which now I can start working with it and manipulating it and bringing in technology and new ideas to help grow it. And I'm really excited about this because I think there's a ton of opportunity, and I think it could be a great place to start really making big change in the world as a whole. And so I'm really excited about this topic, and I'm going to spend more time on videos, in coming videos and blog posts discussing this in more detail, because I've really done a deep dive on this in the past few months and spent a lot of time thinking about it and analyzing it. So I'm very excited about that. So in conclusion of this video, I think I covered everything here pretty well. So the three main topics that I discussed today were, I don't remember if I covered that, but one's the original goals, where I stand on those original goals. Two, what I've learned from the process so far. And three, the construction industry, how it works, and how I want to use my abilities and knowledge to improve it using technology and everything like that. So I think that pretty much covers everything that I wanted to discuss in this particular video. I'm excited about where the future is going to go here, and I'm getting a lot out of this documentation process, a lot out of it. Let's see, I feel like I don't remember if I talked about this, but I wanted to say that this process has been extremely difficult. I don't know if I mentioned this, but process has been extremely difficult. I knew it was going to be difficult from the beginning, but it's been very difficult to organize thoughts and while maintaining those other goals and strategies. But I wanted to follow up this video with another quote. I haven't done a quote in a while. So this quote means a lot to me. I found it online just a minute ago. And I wanted to mention before I say the quote, it doesn't really mean much to me who says the quote or who says these quotes. I more care about the content and the intent, more importantly, of the quotes. And so this one is good. The past is behind, learn from it. The future is ahead, prepare for it. The present is here, live it. So really like that. We talked about the past. present, and future. And that's kind of what we're doing in this video, is kind of taking a step back and looking at what we're learning and what we have accomplished, what we look forward to accomplishing, and how this experience is affecting my trajectory and my thought process. So very positive. Love this process so far. It is very difficult, but it's definitely something that's making me better as a person. And that was pretty much that was essentially the underlying goal of the entire thing. So so really excited.